Anchors up, sells it full. Welcome to the SlooPcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
Doing all right, Jared. Doing all right. How are you doing?
Camera's not in the normal position where I normally leave the camera, so I'm going to fix that. And then, I didn't fix the camera before the show started. Now my microphone arm is loose. Ohio State's not playing this weekend. My pets' heads are falling off. Everything's fine. We're not going to restart the podcast. We're going to keep going. Everything's fine. Ohio State didn't lose. Ohio State's not on a bye week. Everything's fine. Everything's okay.
You sure?
No.
Okay.
It's a new tradition. It's a good tradition. And apparently I need this.
All right, here we are. Week eight. Yes, here we've come to this, Jared. But seriousness, here we are. Week eight of the SlooPicks are here. Second bye week edition here for Ohio State. So we are straight up picking 7 games against the spread here, and there's some good games. There's some good games.
I feel like when we were talking about this at the end of the Tuesday episode, I don't know. I felt like I was feeling kind of meh about the lineup of games, but after I looked at it a little bit more closely, it's actually a really good lineup of games. So yeah, I think this will actually be a great Saturday of football. Actually, a great weekend of football, because I think there might be, Kyle. I think there might be a surprisingly good game on Friday night.
Possibly, yeah. Let's just jump right in. Let's just jump right into that.
That's what you call a transition, folks. In the biz, yes. That's what you call a transition. And I totally don't ruin it by pointing it out.
Every time. Every time. Yeah, Jared talking about Oregon heading on over to West Lafayette this Friday night. Coming off a big win over Ohio State.
Yep.
Then having to travel on a short week here. Favored by 27.5 here.
Yeah.
I know Purdue's not good.
No,
I know
terrible.
They're not good, Jared.
They're pretty bad. Although they did just give Illinois a run for their money last week.
They did.
But it's Purdue at night. Exactly, Austin.
Yeah.
It's Purdue at night. They're coming off a huge emotional win on a short week, and we know what going Big Ten teams going Eastern, traditional Big Ten teams going West, and West Coast Big Ten teams coming East. We already know that this is, statistically speaking, wreaking havoc on teams. We know this. The numbers don't lie. The numbers are admittedly a small sample set at this point, but as far as the spread, at the very least, as far as the spread is concerned, teams are struggling. Oh, Jesus effing see, I forgot about all those travel stats before our game. I'm annoyed yet. It's okay. All right, Kyle.
Yes.
I do not think that Oregon will lose this game. I think that they're much, much, much better than Purdue. That being said, I think that the 27.5 is a lot, considering all of the factors that Kyle and I already talked about. So with that being said, I'm going to take Purdue to cover. Not to win, but to cover.
Yeah, 27.5 is a lot of points. But yeah, I agree with Jared. I think it's too much there. I think more of like if it's 23.5, I may may start leaning more towards Oregon there. But yeah, 27.5 seems like a lot. Yeah. Yeah. I wish so too, Austin. Wish it was 28.5. But
yeah.
But Vegas does Vegas things here. 27.5. Yeah, I'll pick Purdue here. So for this week we have a whole crew of Sloop Cats picking the different games here. So appreciate the cats chiming in here to give their takes on our Sloop picks. So the first one here is Buckeye Esquire. He says here for the Purdue has a new play caller, and that change resulted in them putting up 49 points, or what has been a pretty stout Illinois defense. Well, I do want to mention Buckeye Esquire. That same play caller was also there for the Wisconsin game, and he only put up 6 points. But I digress. Put that together with what I expect will be a little hangover from Oregon's game against Ohio State, and I think Purdue covers the 27.5. Would feel better if it got the full 28, but I'm still taking the points. Is this thinking partially clouded by PD spite motives? Possibly, but let's go Purdue, Pete.
I think petty. There's too many Pete's in that sentence. It threw you. You're thinking about
yes,
yeah, too many Pete's in that sentence.
Yes,
I'm assuming. I don't actually see it. All right, so that's everyone going Purdue. Austin asked if we were going to do the over-unders as we go or all at the end. I say it's tradition to do it at the end, but Kyle's in charge of the Ask Sloopcast section, so I'll leave it up to him.
Did you do one for? Yeah, you did one for each of the games here.
Yeah.
Oh no, you have 8 in here.
There might be a bonus.
All right. So let's I'll do one each for each one here. That's a good idea. For this one here, he has in this Oregon Purdue game, he says Oregon sacks allowed at 1.5. Under.
He says no, there's 7.
Oh, never mind. I saw 8 lines. I see what I did wrong.
Yeah, that's the title line. That's the title line.
Title line.
Yep.
That is, yes.
All right, next game. We have
Miami and Louisville. Yeah, trying to take over my thing. Jeez, Jared. Miami and Louisville, noon kickoff in Kentucky here. Louisville is a 3.5 point favorite. Hey, Jared.
Yeah. No, Kyle. Miami's a 3.
I'm sorry. Miami's a 3.5.
Yeah.
Sorry. Miami is a 3.5 favorite.
Left column favorites. Right column underdogs.
Got it. Hey, Jared.
Yeah.
I'm calling for the upset here.
Okay.
I'm picking Louisville. I'm picking Louisville in this one.
To win and cover?
To win and cover.
Oh, boy. All right. Kyle's going with the Louisville full-blown upset. Personally speaking, I do think that an upset is very possible here. That being said, it's only 3.5 points, so it really could go either way. Like, it really, really could. I think my takeaway here, though, is that both of these teams are 3-3 against the spread. So, like, we're going real 50-50 there, right? But Louisville started the year 3-0 against the spread and then have dropped 3 since then. So they were 3-0 against the spread, then went 0-3 against the spread. Miami seems to be a little bit more balanced out.
What was Miami's last 2 games, though?
They did not cover the last 2 games. They were favored by double digits in both and won both by less than 5.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
I like my pick.
Louisville has not covered for the last 3 games, including losing 2 of them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still go with Louisville.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Miami. What does our guest picker have to say?
This time it is Dinger. Dinger chimes in saying, "Is this the game Miami goes all Miami all over everyone? My gut just doesn't trust them. But other than home field, Louisville is just so mid and uninspiring. Unless Cardinal freshman Isaac Brown goes molten, I think I have to go with the potentially, maybe actually good Miami. Perhaps not having the pressure to be one of the 4 teams is helping Miami to keep them from choking. He has Miami to win and cover 38-17.
All right. Next game.
We have
wait a
Battle of
minute.
the
Austin.
Reds.
Austin. We're doing Austin's over unders during the that was my fault. That was my fault.
Cam Ward touchdowns thrown or rushed at 2.5 over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over on that. I think he's gonna. This game, I think, could very easily end up being high 20s, low 30s for each team.
Mm-hmm. We picked the over in the first one, or I'm sorry, under.
Yeah, we both went under
Austin.
on the first one.
All right. All right. Third game here. We have the Battle of the Reds. Indiana Hoosiers.
Like half the teams in the Big Ten are red at this point.
Yeah. Taking on Nebraska. Hoosiers 6-0. 6-0 going into week 8 undefeated, Jared.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
Oh yeah, Kyle, you got to do it.
I'll get there. Who do you have, Jared?
I am going to go with, as I light it up, we go Indiana here. Going to take a quick peek at the numbers. Indiana is, with the exception of a pretty large spread against Florida International in week 1, ever since then have been crushing the line. Absolutely demolishing the line. They're on a 5-game win streak against the line. Nebraska, that being said, is also 4-2 against the spread. So both of these teams outperforming Vegas so far. But I'm gonna go Indiana here. I think Nebraska wins. I think it's close. I think there's a lot of points scored in this football game. Like, I think there's the real play here is the over. I don't even know what the over is or the over under for the total score is, but I think the play here is probably the over if you were, doing the real life gamble, which you shouldn't do. But, I'm going to take Indiana to cover. I'm going to take Indiana here to cover, I think.
Indiana is favored by 5.5.
Yeah, I know. I misspoke earlier. That's my bad. But I still like Indiana to win and cover.
All right. Yeah. Nebraska has really turned it around this year. 5-1. Started off really, really strong here. But yeah, these last few weeks here, only putting up 28 to a not great Purdue team. Only put up 14 points to Rutgers there. But I really like, I do like Nebraska's defense. First tough defense Indiana is going to come up against here. I think this is going to be really, really close here. But I'm going to go with my gut here. I'm going to go with the Cornhuskers.
All right.
No, psych. I mean the Hoosiers to cover.
Ooh. Kyle with the Lee Corso not so fast. All right. What does our guest picker have to say?
Our guest picker is Buckeye Zach. He says here, Indiana at 5.5. I don't buy it. This defense is atrocious. Basically, Ohio State against Oregon. but all magnitude levels are really bad. Indiana's work has been on fire, but the lack of real competition strikes me on the question, is Indiana for real? Nebby will be the test. I think Indiana holds strong enough to protect the quarterback and big plays are made. On the reverse, though, I see Nebraska ripping apart the Pee Wee defense. Give me Nebby with the points in a close one, but Indiana's offense saves the day. College kickers are heroes. 38-35. That's right, Jared. A mini shout out.
Shootout?
A shootout. Sorry. Shootout.
Yeah.
All right. This text is way too small. I got to zoom in.
There you go. I see you leaning into the monitor. By the way, the day we're recording this, it's Kyle's birthday. Might need in the YouTube comments, and in the Discord chat, can we get some happy birthday Kyle's. Maybe it's time to look into some readers. Just saying. Maybe it's time.
I am getting glasses, but not for that reason.
You've worn contacts for as long as I've known you, though, so.
I haven't worn contacts in a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
When did you... This is not a podcast conversation. This is not a podcast conversation.
Next up is Alabama and Tennessee.
Kyle,
so we'll cover Austin. That after our first.
Austin, no. Austin, do the Austin over under first.
But before we go to our break, we're going to cover what Austin has here. He has Raiola passing at 234.5 yards. Over because I think they're going to have to pass to stay in this game, unless Indiana's offense just does not show up in this game. It's Raiola is going to have to keep Nebraska in the game. So I'm going to take the over on that.
Listen, I love the Indiana storyline. That being said, yes, they're undefeated. Opponents: Florida International, Western Illinois, UCLA, Charlotte, Maryland, Northwestern. Like, I really hate to do they ain't played nobody, Paul, but they ain't played nobody, Paul. Sorry. So if I didn't already say it, yeah, give me the over. I don't think Indiana's faced a offense, and I'm not even saying Nebraska's offense is like world beating, but they've not played an offense like Nebraska's offense. Just straight up, they haven't done it.
Yep.
All right, Kyle. All right.
And with that, we'll go ahead and take our first ad break here. Check out the SlooPicks.com where you can find all of our lovely links to our Discord page, discord.thesloopcast.com, where you join our little community where we chat nonsense. So if you like a great place to hang out, talk Buckeye football, talk about apparently baseball is going on right now. I don't know why, but
there's been a lot of Yankee Guardian talk in the Discord for some reason.
We do talk a lot about food in there. Yes. YouTube.thesloopcast.com. If you're listening to the podcast version, you want to see Jared and I's pretty faces, you can go over to youtube.thesloopcast.com. If you want to help support Jared and I, patreon.thesloopcast.com is where you can go to become a patron as well. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and take our first ad break and be right back.
Yeah, don't forget the 7071 store. Nope, wrong.
That's for the second ad break.
Aha. Kyle's on it. Kyle, did you ever turn your noise gate back on? Those snaps came through awfully loud.
It was probably because I'm talking at the same time, so they come in at the same time.
Oh, God, it's like you're a pro or something. Next game.
I know. Alabama and Tennessee in Knoxville. 3:30 game. And Alabama is a 2.5 point favorite. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Alabama's 2.5 point favorite. Are you surprised by that?
A little bit. A little bit.
So I take it that means you're taking Tennessee?
I'll let you, or is it my pick this time?
I don't know, but I think you've already given it away, so you might as well go.
Yeah, I got Tennessee to cover this one here. I know Tennessee recently hasn't had their success against Arkansas, and then they struggle against Florida here, but they're at home here, and I feel like I think they overlooked Florida, knowing what's coming the following weekend here. But
what's their excuse for Arkansas?
I just like Tennessee. I just like Tennessee's offense to be able to score points on Alabama here. So, 2.5. Like you're getting Alabama at 2.5 on the road here. Sure, I'll bite. I'll take Tennessee.
Yeah, I don't agree. Tennessee has looked like dog shit, quite frankly, the past 2 games. Oh no, I do not endorse that. Racist ass caricature. I know I just lost some fans saying that, but you just look at that Chief Wahoo, man. That's some Dr. Seussian World War II era Japanese bullshit.
All right.
It is. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm just going to scroll up a little bit, as a matter of fact. It's distracting me. Last 2 weeks, neither of these teams have looked good. Tennessee started the year 4-0 against the spread. Alabama started the year 3-1 against the spread. They just narrowly missed covering the spread, a pretty big number against South Florida. Other than that, like these 2 teams looked like monsters through September. Since October, however, both teams lost on October 5th. One to Vanderbilt, one to Arkansas, and then both turned around and, quite frankly, drastically underperformed against South Carolina and Florida. I'm still going with Bama here. The 2.5 points isn't enough to spur me off. What I do think is the better team, and I do think that they are the better team. So yeah, go ahead and give me Alabama. I don't feel like you get a chance to choose Alabama when they're only a 2-point favorite too often. So I'm going to take advantage of that.
All right.
What does our guest picker have to say?
Our guest picker is Austin. Austin says here, I graduated from Florida. I'm sorry. They're a slightly below average football team. They were just in an overtime game in Knoxville. Alabama is a largely above average football team. It may be close, but Milroe will make the plays that Lamina average quarterback at best will not. Tide rolls. He has Alabama covering 30-20.
All right. He makes a really good point there. I know I don't know if there's college logic to back this up or not, but I know in the NFL gambling world, there's a pretty decent performance of teams failing by a couple points per the spread coming off of a overtime game. I don't know if that translates to college football or not. I haven't seen the numbers, but in the NFL, you're a lot less likely to cover if you played in an overtime game the week before.
Fair enough.
But like, that's the NFL where all of the teams are amazing. The talent gap is so small in the NFL. So I don't know. It's a good question. I might have to look that up.
All right.
And by the way, Austin wants you to know that Florida is a great school. It is one of the schools in the SEC that is actually a good school. It's like them, Vanderbilt, and Georgia, I think. Well, Texas now. Now.
All right. He has here Ryan Williams.
Don't be saying Texas. Georgia's a bad school with Esquire in the chat.
He has here Ryan William catches over under 5.5.
I feel like he's mostly their big play guy, right? I'm gonna go under on that one. I'll go
over.
Okay.
I'll go over.
That's good. I needed that. You're really far ahead of me on the over-unders, so thanks for that.
Sure. All right. Next up here is Michigan and Illinois. 3:30 kickoff. In Champaign, Illinois. Michigan is a 1.5 point favorite in this game. What say you, Jared?
Here's my take here. Michigan has only covered once this year, and that was against USC, who was, traveling east. And we've talked about that a lot. That's a huge advantage, at least when it comes to the spread. Big Ten West teams coming east, and I don't mean West as in the traditional Big Ten West. I'm talking about the Pac-12 teams coming. We've talked about this, and I don't need to keep going. That was the one cover that Michigan has for the year. Meanwhile, Illinois is 4-2. Big difference. 4-2 against the spread. The only times they didn't cover was when they hit the number exactly, losing on the 1.5 against Central Michigan. And then they had a stinker last week against Purdue. Now, hopefully the stinker against Purdue is an anomaly and not the beginning of a trend. So I'm gonna lean on anomaly as opposed to beginning of a trend, and I'm gonna go with Illinois.
Yeah, I'm going with Illinois here. I'm going with a team that can actually pass.
Kyle, as simple of an analysis that is.
I feel like that actually he does. Their leading receiver has more yards than Michigan's leading quarterback has thrown.
Illinois' top receiver has more receiving yards than Michigan's top quarterback has throwing yards, is what you're telling me.
Mm-hmm.
What if you add the two quarterbacks together?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be Michigan will be, because the difference is 8 yards between between Pat Bryant and Michigan's quarterback Warren.
Okay. That's still a fun stat, though.
It is.
Still a fun stat. All right. We have guest picker Stuart E4 US Vet. He says, I'm going to leave this prediction short and sweet. Michigan can full on suck it. Illinois 35, Michigan 17.
Ooh.
That's an Illinois cover.
By a lot. By the way, I don't think Michigan's going to score 17. Just tossing that one out there. Mm-hmm. All right, our sixth game here. We have Kansas State and West Virginia in Morgantown. Kansas is a 7:30 kickoff.
Hey, Kyle, you forgot the over-under again. See, this is why we shouldn't mess with the normal rhythm of the show.
You're right.
This is why we shouldn't mess with the normal rhythm of the show.
Back up. Austin's over-unders here. He has Teton team passing at 131.5 yards.
Under.
Where's that GIF at? Where's this GIF at? That's too damn high.
Listen, this man was a prophet. He's complaining about rent back when not everyone was complaining about rent. We should have listened to this man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's a bipartisan issue. The rent is in fact too damn high. I dare you to find someone who's going to disagree with me on that. Jared, I'm going to mute you. Yeah, that's probably fair.
All right. 131.5 over under. Jared, pick.
Under.
All right. Now we got Kansas State and West Virginia in Morgantown. Kansas State is a 3.5 point favorite in this game. I feel this was last week. Somebody mentioned about that. I think there's two sides, like Kansas State not doing well on the road.
Yeah.
And teams struggling in Morgantown this year. I know West Virginia's 3-3. You look at the record, but you look at the games, teams have struggled in Morgantown this year. I'm old enough to remember when Kyle thought this West Virginia team was pretty good.
That's as much on me as it is on Kyle, to be fair. No. This West Virginia team is not good.
They give teams.
They're annoying.
Yeah.
They're not dissimilar to Nebraska during Frost's last couple years. They weren't good, but they were annoying. That's the difference. This is a very annoying West Virginia team.
Yes, I agree. And because of that, I think it's going to be really close. I mean, 2.5, I may pick Kansas State, but 3.5 within a field goal. Yeah, I'll take the Mountaineers in this one. I'll take the Mountaineers.
All right. I am also going West Virginia on this one. Mostly because Kansas State's playing outside of Kansas. That's honestly it.
Yeah.
Kansas State has only covered twice this year, and both of those games were in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Against the spread, they're 2-1 at home and 0-3. Yes, Manhattan, New York. We don't need to keep making fun of someone for that. 0-3 against the spread on the road this year, 2-1 at home, and they just barely missed. They were favored by 37.5 against Tennessee Martin and won by 35. Like, they just barely missed that. So practically 3-0 at home against the spread, 0-3 on the road against the spread. Kansas State, different team in Manhattan. Give me West Virginia.
All right, fair enough. Sun Card. Our homie Sun Card here has, fun fact, West Virginia has only lost to unbeaten teams. Kansas State is not an unbeaten team. If West Virginia can keep Kansas State under 200 rushing yards, West Virginia can keep this one close. Strange things can happen in Morgantown under the lights on a Saturday night. I'll take West Virginia to win and cover. 31-38. Yes, and I did not forget about your over-unders this time.
Listen, I'm just saying, strange things happen anywhere in West Virginia at night. And quite frankly, in the day, too. I was born in West Virginia. I can say that.
Kansas State and West Virginia total game turnovers at 2.5.
Austin says you guys are too high on West Virginia. First off, it's a mountainous state. I'm allowed to be high on them. That's a geography joke. Second, it's not that I'm high on West Virginia as much as that I'm low on Kansas State when they aren't playing in Kansas. I deserve that boo. I'll take that. Rocky Mountain High? No, wrong mountain range. Wrong mountain range. Wrong John Denver song. Listen, there's one John Denver. There's two John Denver songs about the mountains. You picked the wrong one.
2.5, Jared. What do you got for turnovers? Over, under?
I'm sorry, for which team?
Both teams combined.
Oh, combined? I'm going to go over. This is This is some Big 12. No, this is going to be like a Big 12 primetime nonsense game. Remember when we always used to say this Pac-12 after dark game is drunk back when Twitter was fun? This is going to be a drunk Big 12 game. West Virginia, by the way, not just Mountaineers, but pioneers in selling alcohol at the stadium. I feel like a lot of places sell beer at the stadium now. West Virginia never stopped. Morgantown, West Virginia is one of the few places, that in Cincinnati, I think was another one, where you could actually buy beer at the stadium for the longest time.
I got under. I'll take the under that one. I've no reason. I just gut instinct thinks under.
That's totally fair. All right, Kyle. Prime time. Big matchup of the week. This is the headliner. I don't know where I don't pay attention to where game day goes anymore, but without a doubt in my mind, I'm just going to say this is the game day. This is where game day is this week. But
we'll get to that after our next ad break here. So
the tease.
As I mentioned before, head on over to thesloopcast.com where you can check all of our lovely links, such as our merch store, merch.thesloopcast.com. Or if you don't want to get any kind of anything that says Sloopcast or anything, and you just want a fun shirt that's not podcast related, 7071.thesloopcast.com. A lot of great things that Jared's made over there, such as I think the shirt that Jared's wearing right now too.
No, this is an homage.
Never mind. Oh, that's a homage. Oh.
Yeah, no, I don't have license rights for the Newport Music Hall.
A lot of great shirts out there at 7071.
A lot of shirts that celebrate like specific cities in Ohio, including some small ones like Portsmouth and Cincinnati. That's a joke. That's a joke.
Cincinnati was Kentucky.
Well, that's the other Cincinnati joke. You can see on the screen right now, there's the one for Canton, one for Youngstown. So yeah, like it's not just like the 3 big C cities that we celebrate over at 7071.com, or excuse me, 7071.thesloopcast.com. It's a lot of Ohio cities.
Hi.
Listen, you can talk bad about Portsmouth if you want to talk bad about Portsmouth, but the fact of the matter is that's where the Lions started. The Lions started in Portsmouth, Ohio as the Spartans, then later moved to Detroit and became the Lions. But always keep in mind that the Lions originated in Portsmouth, Ohio.
All right. With that being said, we'll take our second ad break and be right back.
I'm going to celebrate Portsmouth. I've seen the mural, Jared. That's fair. Totally fair.
All right.
Let's pick this game.
Our last pick, Texas and Georgia. This game, is it in Austin? I thought it was the opposite. Nope, I guess not. It is in Austin. And Texas is a 3.5 point favorite in this game. So they're telling us this is pretty much a pick'em game at a neutral site. Right? Am I reading that correctly?
Depends. Like sometimes they say 2 points, sometimes they say 3 points. Specifically because it's Austin, Texas, I'd say that's probably worth 3 points or 2.5, as Austin points out.
I'll let you pick first, Jared.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Texas on this one. Just straight up. I think this is one of the two. I think this, honest to God, I think this is one of the 2 easiest money picks on the board. There's some of these I was very conflicted on. I went back and forth on Miami and Louisville. I went back and forth on Indiana and Nebraska. If I were to actually gamble money, which I don't do hardly ever, and I never recommend that anyone does, this is not financial advice, yada, yada, yada. There are 3 games I feel particularly confident about in the SlooPicks, and I'm not on the right screen. There we go. 3 games I feel particularly confident about. I feel great about Purdue because of the travel, because of the short week. I feel great about Purdue covering against Oregon. I feel really good about Illinois beating Michigan. I think a lot of Michigan is still getting a lot of credit for their name. And I feel really, really good about Georgia just maybe even getting there is a possible scenario here in which Georgia just gets totally shit hammered by Texas. I think Texas not just covers this. I think there's a chance they totally blow out Georgia.
Fun fact, Texas all year has let up 38 points. All year, 38 points in 6 games. Just last week, Georgia let up 31 to a really bad Mississippi State team.
Kyle, Georgia is currently 1-5 against the spread. Texas is currently 5-1 against the spread.
Well, Georgia's going to be 1-6 after this one. Give me Texas at 13.5.
13.
You can add in 10. You can add in.
You giving away 10 points?
More. You can add in 10 more points. I think Texas is going to run away with this here. In Austin at night. No, yeah, give me Texas.
All right, what's our guest picker have to say?
Suncard again. Our homie Suncard picks a second time here, and he says there are 2 huge games, or 2 huge keys to this game. First key is Quinn Ewers is back for Texas. Second key is Georgia knows how to win big games. All signs pointing to Texas winning big, but this is college football, and Texas won in an emotional game last week against Oklahoma. I hope Texas doesn't sleepwalk into this one because Georgia won't. I'll take Georgia for the upset in Austin. Yeah, I don't think that's really an emotional win. They won 38-3.
No, hold on, timeout. That's their biggest rival. Like, it may not have been down to the wire, but from like a game prep standpoint, like, they gave everything to that game. You know what I mean? Sometimes the emotion comes from the week of preparation beforehand. If that makes sense.
Be fair.
All right. That is our final Sloop pick. Kyle, you and I only differ on 2 games. I picked Miami where you picked Louisville, and I picked Alabama where you picked Tennessee. I'll acknowledge that Miami-Louisville game is kind of a toss-up. You might get me there, but I think I got you on Bama, Tennessee. I'm just going to say that. I think I got you on Bama, Tennessee.
I'm just saying, Jared. Why fix what's not broken?
We haven't done it. We have not done it yet, Austin.
If you look at all of the picks here, Jared, just like last week, I picked all the home teams this time.
Listen, you can only ride that for so long. If it were that easy, there wouldn't be casinos in the desert.
It worked for me last week.
I know. I get that. But if it were that easy, they wouldn't have built a city in the desert. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Kyle, one last over under.
Yep. Texas passing yards plus Georgia rushing yards at 421.5.
That's tough because one of those numbers is going to be pretty high and the other number is going to be pretty low. So even if we say Georgia gets like 60 yards on the ground, right? What was the number again?
421.
I'm going to take the over on that. Obviously Texas is going to do much of the heavy lifting there, but I'm going to go over on that.
Yeah, I'm just looking real quick here. God, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll say over as well. I feel, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I'll say over as well.
Okay. Kyle, we have one more segment on the show. That segment is Chaos Theory.
All right.
Chaos Theory. If this is your first time here, this is a game in which you have to pick an unranked team to beat a ranked team. That's it. The scoring is just the inverse of the rank. For example, if you pick number 25 to lose and they do, you get a point. If you pick number 1 to lose and they do, you get 25 points. That's the game. I asked one of our guest pickers to also do the Chaos Theory pick. That was Dinger. And he picks Oregon, which should be worth 24 points. This is the biggest swing of the board yet this year.
Wow.
Listen, I don't hate this pick. Do I think this is super likely? No. Is it worth it for a 24-point shot? Yeah, I think it is. I asked Kyle earlier today, hey, have you made your Chaos Theory pick yet? And he goes, no, not yet. And I said to him, I think there's 2 obvious picks. I think there's 2 obvious picks that are worth it from a point standpoint. And to me, this is one of them. I picked the other one that I was talking about, but this was one of them. I love this pick from Dinger. This is a huge swing. I think that there's a slightly smaller, slightly higher percentage swing out there, and that's the one I picked. But before we talk about which one I picked, I'm going to ask Kyle, which one did you pick?
If you were listening earlier, I already made my pick.
Yeah, you did.
And that is the Cardinals over Miami. Right at the start. Right at the start there.
Which was
Saturday afternoon with a team chaos alert is my prediction.
And Kyle, I agree. I think that there were 2 obvious picks. And we all 3 picked one of those 2 obvious picks. I do think, as I said before, I think the Miami losing to Louisville is just a little more likely. It's just a little more likely, and that makes it, to me, worth 4 less points. That being said, I still love this swing from, his name's Dinger. Of course he's going to swing for the fences. It's right there in the name. We should have seen this coming. Of course he's going to swing for the fences. I hit dingers. God, that's one of the best moments from the Little League World Series of all time.
It is.
I really love Georgia Tech at home against Notre Dame. I agree. I think that one has potential.
Since we have a little bit of time here, I'm looking at some other ranked versus not ranked teams. I mentioned Indiana and Nebraska. That could be potentially an upset there.
Agree, but not worth it from Indiana's not ranked high enough, in my opinion, to make that worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair. I think I saw somebody put in here, actually Dinger said LSU at Arkansas is a reasonable choice.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is a reasonable choice. Arkansas, much like West Virginia, Arkansas is much like West Virginia in many ways.
West Virginia, Kansas State is another one too.
Well, I just mean the states, and I'm just saying the states are just very similar states, Arkansas and West Virginia. I'm not even talking about football. No, I'm kidding. Much like West Virginia, Arkansas is not necessarily a good football team, but they have been giving good football teams fits this year. The Ozarks and the Alleghenies. Allegheny does not go through Morgantown specifically. Actually, yeah, no, the Allegheny stops in Pennsylvania. Does it? Yeah. That's one of the three famous rivers of Pittsburgh. Appalachian. Oh, you meant to say Appalachian. Gotcha. That makes more sense. Yeah. The Ozarks versus the Appalachians. Yeah. I think there's a lot of good options. But from a point value standpoint, when there's two pretty decent options that'll get you 20 plus, I think you got to take one of those. That's just my take on it. I think picking Mississippi State to beat Texas A&M, I think that's more likely than either of these two. No, not Mississippi State over Texas A&M. Mississippi State's garbage. Arkansas over LSU, rather, I think is worth a shot for sure. And again, if Indiana were more highly ranked, I think Nebraska beating Indiana, I think is maybe the most likely. If we look at all of the ranked versus unranks, I think probably the most likely, if we weren't weighting this based off of rank, I would take Nebraska beating Indiana hands down. Hands down. But with them being ranked 16th and that game kind of feeling like a 50-50, might as well swing for the fence, in my opinion. Oklahoma State could take down BYU. I mean, could they? Yes. But Oklahoma State's looked like garbage the past few weeks. I mean, I love Ollie Gordon. I do. I think he's a tremendous running back. The Friday night game also helps. But Oklahoma State's just looked terrible the past few games. Absolutely horrendous. I don't know. Any additional thoughts here?
No, I think it should be a fun. I think it should be a fun weekend here, and could start off with a bang Friday night. But we'll see.
Yeah, I really want Purdue to make that upset. I don't think they will, but I think it's going to be close. I think Purdue is going to make it fun for at least a while. I think if you're putting actual money on that game, I think what you need to be worried about is Oregon throwing up a bunch of points in the fourth quarter to make it look like a better win than it is. If you're trying to win a sloop pick, not a real pick, because we don't real life gamble here, but a sloop pick, the real concern is that Oregon throws up like an additional 20 points that they don't really need in the fourth quarter. What's the opposite of a backdoor cover? Is it a front door cover? That's what I'd be worried about. I don't know who that is. Austin.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all we have on our list here.
All right. All right, Kyle, is that the end of the show?
Yeah, for those interested in the next Ohio State game, it will be noon.
There you go. Is that Kyle's Corner?
Yep, that is Kyle's Corner.
Hey, Kyle, what's in Kyle's Corner?
Ohio State plays at noon.
Awesome.
Against Nebraska.
So that means we'll be doing a live broadcast on Bleacher Report at about 3:30-ish, right after that game ends. It's, as far as I know, the last Bleacher Report stream we'll be doing this year. So unless they reach out to us and ask us to do more. But it's the last one we currently have scheduled. I'll say that. So keep an eye on the Bleacher Report app for that. And anything else in Kyle's Corner?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Any other questions in the Sloopcast mailbag you want to address? Or should we wrap this one?
I think we're good. We're coming up to the hour mark, so I think we're good here.
Okay. Well, We're only doing one episode. We're releasing this on a Thursday. We normally release these on a Friday, but Ohio State's not playing this week. So we only got one episode on the back end of this week, not doing obviously a Know Your Enemy. So I'm just going to go ahead and continue our band from Monday and Tuesday and go ahead and do Superdestroyer again here on Thursday. So with all that being said, I'd like to... Next episode will be Collegiate Chaos next week. Woo. Maybe something might come up that we actually want to do an additional episode at the beginning of next week. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. If there's something to do, we'll do it. If there's not, we won't. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, and of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is Superdestroyer.